Okay folks, Brian here from Northwind Garage. What I've done here is, so I have two squares on the flat portion of this log. And what I've done is I've taken a shim and I've screwed it to the log. So when I turn this log up, it should lay level on the log bed. So that's my goal. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but I'm going to have to lay the log down flat. These big logs, even if they bump the saw carriage or the saw bed in any way, it'll knock it all out of whack. So because they're so heavy, they're just very difficult to deal with. So you have to put it up in such a way so it's going to sit there under its own weight and sit fairly plumb with the back stops and the log bed. So that's what I'm working on today, folks. Stay tuned. Okay folks, so maximum blade height on the Woodland Mills HM130MAX is about 27 inches. Proud 27 inches, 27, 27 and an eighth. So the throat depth is about 34 and a half. This log at the highest point, the way it sits on the mill, is about 35 and a half. So I got to take an inch off of this thing, folks. An inch off this high side to start cutting on it. So, and that's not going to be in this video, but let's do this. Can't get under it good. Okay folks, so you can see this cleat. Come here, son. So you can see this cleat I added in here. This was to square up the log with those squares I showed you at the beginning of the video. So when you cut a flat on a log and you want to make sure your cuts are square, you got to make sure they lay flat on the backstop and the log beds. So the log bunks, rather. I've been calling them log beds. They're actually log bunks. So this piece that I screwed to this giant log, monster log. We are in the monster log series. So this cleat we put in there, if you come over here, it helped me to square up on the backstops. Come here, son. Come here, bub. So it helped me to clear up on the backstop, it helped me to square up on the backstops. So I'm going to get a log dog in to hold this corner in, and then I can scooch it. You can see there's a little bit of a space here, but it looks square. And we're not looking for perfect, folks. We're just looking for fairly accurate. So we fall within the limits to be able to plane something down and get a decent sized piece of lumber. Yeah?
I love you.
I love you. I ain't gonna be able to cut it. Okay folks, so you can see we're pretty tight up against this one. This one has a space, and this one we're tight up against. So that's telling me that this log bunk is probably moved. So I'll have to keep that in mind after I get done cutting this log here, and we'll have to make some adjustments on that. But that's all normal when you're dealing with big heavy logs like this. Just something being a little misaligned or whatever can cause something to go all out of whack. So you got to check and double check and check again. So you're making sure your mill's staying level and square and plumb and all that. So this one we're going to have to look at, but it's no use even having it up other than safety's sake, because it's not really doing nothing. So folks, have a look at this arch here, okay? See how different that shape is compared to this one here? You might be able to fit it through this part, but by the time you get through here, it often will hit on these corners. So, I most likely see a modification in order, but that won't be today. So, I'm gonna have to figure out how to whittle this log down to get it through there. So, I probably should have measured twice and before I set it back up on the mill, but I'm not taking it down now. They're such a pain to get up there. I think what I'm going to do is try and make some cuts to get that to fit through there. So, which will be another video. So, okay folks, so looking on this side, you can see that it looks like it might fit just by trimming a little bit on this side. You think you only got a little bit to trim here, but that's not the case when they have this arch in the back. That's a no-go. There would have been plenty of room for this just to be 2 inches higher, and then this redesigned a little different, this part here. So essentially this limits you quite a bit from where that opening is on the other side. So you got to keep that in mind. So when you're sighting this for the cut, you got to take into account this arch that lays pretty low in the picture. So
I can drill some holes up here.
So here what we have. Let's take some measurements here. So it's about 30.5. Actually, it's 30 inches. The further you get out, the less it is. So hence probably the HM130MAX brand. So if this was straighter, it would be 32 inches across here, just by eliminating this right here and redesigning this support some other way. Also the height control, the lead screw that controls the height, if that was just up just a hair more, a little more, it wouldn't, as you look through here, you can see that it lays lower than this. Lays lower than this top. You can see it in there. This here is your lead screw for your height control. So if that was just a little bit higher, you get a couple more inches out of this mill, which in this case, I need everything I can get. Okay. Okay, folks, that's going to be it for this one. I see I got an adjustment to make here. I got some to trim off. Not going to bore you with all that in a video. I'm going to go ahead and try to trim it off camera and get it cut. And we'll get back to cutting wood as soon as I get that done. Northwind Garage, peace out, and God bless you.